We do have uh, Representative Maynor, Senator Robertson, who'll present the bill later, and do we have another representative on there? And Bernal. Thank you all for joining us. We know it's early, and some of us had a late
For some reason.
business, but we'll start with Senator Gins. Chairman, would you like to present the bill?
Good morning. Hope all y'all had your beauty sleep as well. I know Darlene did. So I mean, Chairman did. Said they. Oh, you know, we've been very blessed to get through as much of the pandemic as we have. But one of the things that this bill, and it's Senate Bill 95, I've got LC 470764. What we're trying to do is to help speed things along in case of a declared emergency. And that emergency could be declared by the feds, by the state, or by the local government. Basically, what this bill will do is to allow for virtual meetings in legislation or actions by a local government or authority. Any type of subdivision, could be a planning and zoning hearing, for example, for a local government that can go in and have a meeting as long as everybody can participate, whether that be the public or everybody can do it virtually. So what we're trying to do here is to make sure that the wheels of government doesn't just totally come to a screeching halt. Do this. It's a pretty simple bill. And I'll ask for any questions or your consideration. And did you say Representative Maynor was on the line? Well, I wanted to give a shout out to her. Said I met her one Sunday morning. Had her and her daughter Chloe said they coming in the building. It was a nice meeting. Said but they had a little too much stuff to carry by themselves. So they trying to help a little bit of government there. No, not at all. She told me, and I actually have it in my phone as my favorite new state rep. So
I'm sure she'll be taking that into consideration as we deliberate.
of course,
on this
now I
bill.
will tell you, since the Honorable Rob Leverett has walked into the room and graced us with his presence, said he's actually the part of the Madison County delegation and one of my favorite new reps as well.
So you've called. Do you have anything nice to say about Representative Govt, or would you like to abstain?
Well, sure.
All right. We have a question from Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a quick question. Would this apply to the legislature, or is this just agencies and local committees?
This is any entity of the state. So on the legislature, I don't think that you could do this. I don't know. I'm gonna let our friend Todd address any questions on it, but that's not the intent.
Okay.
And we already do virtual meetings in the legislature. So
Right. Well, we do for our committees, but not the full body. You know, we're sort of spread out. That's why I was wondering.
yes, thank you.
There's no further questions, so we'll go on to testimony.
Greetings, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. My name is Todd Edwards. I'm the Deputy Legislative Director with ACCG, the Counties Association. I'll make the background real quick. We learned several valuable lessons from the pandemic, and one that is under the Open Meetings, Open Records Law, which is the title you have in front of you. It was pretty clear that local governments could hold open meetings in emergency situations by teleconference. It has nowhere in statute any reference to public hearings. It's not addressed in open meetings. There's in different parts of the law, but it didn't address the teleconference issue like the open meetings did. This the open hearings. This has impacted several governments because hearings take place for such issues like approving a local budget, approving a comprehensive plan, but more commonly zoning changes. So we had several counties and cities have to lock down. They're unable to change zoning because of the public hearings, and we think this would help facilitate that process. It is, as I mentioned earlier, in the state's open meeting, open records law, Title 50. Under that, And I will commend the General Assembly for this. You are not subject to these requirements, so you can do what you want as far as hearings are concerned. This applies to cities and counties. I will note that you have seen this bill in front of the committee before. It was House Bill 98. It started off with the exact same language of this legislation. Once it passed out, there was concern. We respectfully disagreed with that last paragraph that says during non-emergency meetings. And then it says they should attend as such in person. I could look it up, but it would take me a second. You have it in front of you. There was concern, discussion, back and forth on whether or not this changed the procedures for conducting public hearings by teleconference, or excuse me, public meetings during non-emergency situations. There are differences of opinion. What ultimately happened with the House bill is that just that whole paragraph was stripped out in rules. It doesn't matter to us. It doesn't impact what we were trying to do, us at ACCG or the good senator, as far as these were concerned. But if it makes anyone feel safer, I can let you know that that's what happened with Representative Lumsden's House Bill 98. I represent ACCG, but we've worked very closely with the Georgia Municipal Association. Both associations fully support this bill and urge your favorable consideration.
So you're saying such participation by teleconference means full participation in the same manner as if such member was physically present. That was what got stripped out?
Yeah, the language is above, and I'm pulling up the bill
Okay,
right now. Well, yeah.
On a non-emergency occasion? You
Yeah,
got it.
on paragraph 3 or subparagraph, however that in legal parlance, you would refer to that in little number 3 there. Yeah, that was just stripped out if you look at House Bill 98. But it started with the same language. We just wanted to make it, our attorneys and I believe general counsel or legislative counsel, when drafting the bill, the intent was just to get that language in there to make it similar to what was stated above for public hearings. But again, if that caused any confusion or if there's differences of agreement, striking that paragraph, it
Sure.
doesn't impact the goal of the intent of this
And just
legislation.
this does not apply to the legislature, but for this committee, for example, if it were a non-emergency occasion under what's here, as long as we had a quorum in the room, legislators would be could participate via Zoom, but they couldn't count for the quorum.
That's subject to the rules of the General Assembly.
No, I'm applying what
Sure,
a zoning
sure.
committee would.
Yeah, you would everything would take place as if you were exactly here. As an example, it does apply to state agencies, just not the General Assembly itself. I should make that note.
And I know the distinction of public hearings is the highlight of public input. How, just very briefly note, what impact, if any, would have in public participation in a public hearing?
Well, the bill in front of you is pretty strict. It applies, there's to have to be the same availability or option for public input, just like there is a regular public hearing. I guess in the real world, if there's a zoning, but you would have to accommodate that. So if there's the same option, if you've got a hot zoning change going on, you can get a large crowd there. So you're going to have to, as a local government, ensure that crowd can participate just like they could in real life. So that's going to take more technology, et cetera. We have to meet that standard, but that standard could vary depending on the popularity of the issue in which the hearing was taking place.
Appreciate it. At this point, I just want to verify, are there any questions on this bill from members of committee or anyone attending via Zoom? All right. That being noted, we're in the posture for a motion if there is one. Motion second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Those, all right, those attending virtually, we've heard a few ayes, so any nays in the room? Any nays virtually? All right, motion passes and be in full committee. We'll note, I don't know if it'll be in full committee today, but it seems like you have favorable consideration from person deciding that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Senator.
Appreciate y'all's help.
Appreciate it. All right. Okay, one moment.
We are scheduled for a 2:00 hearing today for a meeting. However, we're not going until 1, so I got a feeling it's going to be canceled.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chairman said the Senate is also going in at 1 today, so.
Yeah.
we're-
I'll probably just cancel that meeting for 2 because I don't think we'll get through in an hour.
Are y'all
Thank you.
going in on Eastern Standard Time, Daylight Savings Time, or Central Time?
Let's fight about it.
Y'all have a great day.
Have a good one.
Thank you.
All right. Senator Robertson, are you with us?
I am, Mr. Chairman.
Oh, I thought you'd be in your pajamas still.
These are my pajamas, Mr. Chairman. I going to happen, so I want to be ready just in case. You know, you and I share the same profession, so you know, we don't get to lay down in bed and jump up and get dressed. We got to be ready to go 24/7.
Well, I'll go ahead and let you present this this fence detection system bill if you're ready for it.
Yes, sir, I am, and I appreciate this opportunity. I think most of your subcommittees familiar with SB 182, and I'm sure everybody has a copy. And I think if you'll look at the legislation, if you look on line 12, it just basically identifies and defines what a defense detection system is, with a very clear definition. And then over on the back, if you look on line 31, my entire intent on this is to treat this type of system under the same category as other alarm systems, so as not to separate it out. What we have discovered, especially around airports and industrial parks, is that there have been certain government entities that attempt to separate these two out and try to make them one being more important or one being very distinctively different from the other, where in fact, these are exactly the same things. A lot of these types of systems that operate in my district and operate within Columbus, where I policed for over 30 years, if one of these systems are breached, then we get notification, and of course, public safety is required to respond. So I think this kind of clears up that for us, and at the same time, it allows those who own warehouses and those who own these types of facilities that when they come in, they can go ahead and purchase the full system, have the system put in, and provide the protection that they need for whatever the resources that they may have in inventory or stored within their property. So basically, I mean, I know we hear this 1,000 times a day and we laugh at it a lot, but it's very, very simple piece of legislation that's defining what an alarm system is and saying that the entire alarm system should be considered in whatever municipality where a business owner or a private property owner wishes to install this system. And I'm more than happy to take any questions, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Senator. We got one from Representative Govt, who knows this subject well.
Good morning, Senator.
Good morning, sir.
Isn't it true that this bill has already been passed out of the House as HB 130 in the exact same language? And as it passed out of the House, it came through this committee?
Yes, sir.
I think it's a good bill. I think we've already passed it out of this thing. I think we've vetted it already in this committee. And at appropriate time, Mr. Chairman.
I got one question. The esteemed representative was very thorough in all the questions and concerns in the bill, including the some had concern, you know, it was 12 volts too much. He went as far as ensuring he practically tested an application on a battery. Have you done likewise?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chair. I've been tased several times, which carries a much higher voltage amount and a higher amp rate than what we're looking at that would come off of a 12-volt battery. So I think my experience on the wrong end of a taser has given me the ability to say that these systems are extremely safe, and a clear understanding of electricity helps all of us understand that you know, these are just basic deterrent systems, that they offer no inherent dangers to anyone who would try to breach the system, other than just a brief jolt of pain that would remove them from there. But I think my experience with the taser more than helps me understand the importance of these types of systems and how safe they are.
I'm glad you brought that up. I think we have a member of Post who wouldn't mind, in the House, theory is a little more difficult to understand. Would you mind to practically present that for full committee to see the application of, a taser being a very safe form of electric currency?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, if you're asking me to allow myself to be exposed to the taser device in full committee, I'd be more than happy to do that, sir.
All right, thank you for putting that on the record.
Yes,
All
sir.
right, with that, we're in the posture to accept a motion if there is one. Motion made, seconded, all in favor, say aye. Any
Aye.
opposed? All right, motion passes for full committee. Thank you, Senator.
Thank you, Chairman. I appreciate your time.
And with that, we are adjourned. Thank y'all for attending, and we please, for members of committee, please be on alert for any notices of an update on the full committee, given when it'll be likely canceled from the chair.
Thanks. This was electrifying.